Hi, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the habits that really changed my relationship to money. 3 great ones and 1 that I had to let go of. Now, when I started looking at all of this, I thought, what is smart money? And for me, smart money was really checking the prices, looking at things, comparing them, but I had to rewrite this whole story for myself. Before I dive in, if you don't know me yet, my name is Mar Hausler. I'm a financials coach and money mentor. I specifically focus on women, especially their relationship to money, and help them to start investing towards financial freedom. Now, let's dive right into my story here and that I wanted to share that hopefully can somehow inspire you as well. I've been a financials trader and still had to learn about personal finances. Don't assume that everyone who's in finance or in high-flying jobs know this. And interestingly enough, a lot of my clients actually even come from that environment because we haven't been taught about personal finances. So it's just crazy that we want to go through this. Now, there were some habits that really helped me along the path. And the first one was cash flow tracking. That's a baseline. Tracking where my money is going, where it's coming from, how I'm spending it, and exactly allocating that. In the beginning, it's super interesting. It gives you clarity. You understand your spending patterns, what's going on, what changes you can make. You really understand yourself through it. And steps further down the line, it really shows you the control you can have over money. I really felt like I was going in and out, money's flowing, yes, I'm doing this and that. But the second I really understood the impact of cash flow tracking, it changed my whole reality. I could track every month. It allowed me to forecast and plan. A lot of times when I tell my clients to cash flow track, to budget, it's like, oh no, it's all about cutting back. And I always say I'm the opposite. It's about having control and making decisions that really further your life, that you believe in, for you to change your reality instead of life and money ruling you. And you can do this on many different tools. Down below, I will add my free budgeting app, a tool which can help you to really track and start with looking at your numbers. It's a very small action that can have a huge impact in your life and allow you to start planning ahead. The second one is really spending money wisely. I used to spend on impulse, things that I loved. I don't really care as much for designer things or material things, but I loved experiences and travel. And when I started understanding what spending was all about, it really changed the way I looked at money. I love what comes up in the psychology of money. And recently another client of mine brought it back to me, which really inspired me. It's rich versus wealthy. And in my own words, and what we had discussed in this conversation together was, yes, rich is all about material possessions, different things in your life. But being wealthy is about the money you haven't spent and that you've accumulated with you. And I really love that. Where are you spending your money? Where are you holding back? What are you really choosing in your life? The marketing world is telling us to have this and that and live this and that experience. But really it comes down to us in choosing our steps. And in spending wisely, it really comes down to you, how you're spending and what's really important to you. And that is only something that you can determine for yourself and no one else can tell you. So I always tell my clients, come back to you, look at this and set this up for yourself. And spending wisely can really look at also making buckets for different things that you want to spend on. I had a client who loved to splurge. We had a splurge fund. Another one who said, I want to have the female future fund, that I can do what I want as a female in the future. I'm going to spend wisely towards putting money into that fund and then also taking care of her life in the same moment. Time. I really want you to look at your life here, not what do others think, what is the way to do this. And when I come to my caveat of what I really had to undo, I think this can tap the nail on the head as well here. And the third one is a money date. And I really suggest this to all my clients. A money date is something where you make a date with yourself and money. This can be once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, really carving out that time to sit down with money, your finances. If that is looking at your bank account, paying bills, closing certain accounts, opening more high interest accounts, looking at your investments, adjusting these, having a date with you and money. I want you to feel like you're in control. Money is something that you're working with versus it controlling you. It's really a shift in the energy around it that allows you to rewrite your story around money and really change the way you spend and you behave. And this I feel like is a conditioning from a very young age and even from the 2 cultures I come from. A client once said to me, it's very interesting to see that the low budget supermarkets come from Germany, whereas when we go to France, it's all about épiceries and the best way of eating and the best produce shoes that people spend money on. So I could see already this penny pinching aspect coming in. And then more recently, I met a lady and she said to me, it's so great to meet another Asian. We're all about discount and finding the best deals. Others don't understand that. And I started rewinding to see that in my story, that I spent so much time looking for deals, the cheapest option, let's say in the supermarket and places. I even caught myself looking at petrol prices and comparing them, but it took away so much power and mental charge in my system. It was something that was constantly ticking along. How can I save money? How can I get the best deal? And I know in certain situations it's important to look at that. But when the big shift happened for me, it was like, okay, how can I actually stop this small thinking and start looking at how can I create more money to be able to live with this creative energy around it instead of reducing and discounting. And that was so big for me in my money transformation journey when I caught that thought, caught that way of thinking and started shifting out of it. And I started thinking, how can I make much more money to not have to think about this? How can I be creative? What can I do with this energy? All this energy that goes into collecting coupons, where you're spending money, going to different supermarkets to go shopping. I know these stories don't just exist for me. So many clients have told this to me. And even recently, last week, a client of mine, a man, he said to me, I get so annoyed with myself because I go after that 10 euro refund with Amazon when it takes me hours and I could have used that time for something else. And he doesn't have to work. He gets inheritance money. And he says to me, it's just crazy that I still have this mentality in my head. And for me, that just put on light bulbs where I realized, wow, how many of us are trapped in this thinking mind that's keeping us small versus expanding when it comes to money. And for me, it was definitely a touch point when I realized this mentality of the fear of spending, the scarcity that was in my system, to then be able to implement the other steps. Now, it's important to have the positive swing. Really important to have, the budgeting in place, the tracking of your money, looking at your spending habits, where you are spending money, where you're putting it, your money dates. But if we don't start understanding where the habits are locking us into the unconscious patterning, we don't move forward. So I really think it's double work here of putting those systems in place, let's say this new path ahead, taking care of your finances and also undoing the old patterns. And I cannot tell you how massive it was when I could even realize this pattern, undo the steps around it, and completely write a new path. Now, I'm not to say that these patterns don't exist for everyone. Everyone has their own stories, and it's really important for you to find your steps forward in your money journey. I hope this inspired you to make some changes around your money story, around your patterns, and to implement some new habits. Dig up those old ones that don't serve you anymore. If this inspires you, please like the channel, share it, and let's keep walking this path towards financial freedom together.